Today we are going to be discussing pensions. Please make sure you have a pen and paper ready to make notes as you will be asked to answer questions at the end of this video. What is a pension? A pension is defined as a fund into which amounts are paid regularly during an individual's working career and from which periodic payments are made to support the person's retirement from work. There are different types of pensions. Personal pension. These are pensions that you arrange yourself, sometimes known as defined contribution or money purchase pensions. The money you put into a personal pension is put into investments, such as shares, by the pension provider. The money you get from a personal pension usually depends on how much has been paid in, how the fund's investments have performed, how you decide to take your money. Within personal pensions there are stakeholder pensions. These must meet specific government requirements, for example, limits on charges. And self-invested personal pensions. These allow you to control specific investments that make up your pension fund. Personal pension. As mentioned before, a personal pension is a pension you arrange yourself and the money that you pay in is invested, for example into shares, by the pension provider you are with. The idea is that you will earn money on those investments and use that money in retirement. Personal pensions can be a good idea for those who are self-employed, as it enables you to save in a tax-efficient way for your future. Some benefits of a personal pension plan for the self-employed are tax relief, you choose the provider, more flexibility with investment options. You can have a personal pension alongside a workplace pension. You can have as many pensions as you wish. However, you do have to consider tax, as if you go over the pension annual allowance for a tax year, then there may be a tax charge. When paying into your personal pension, you will arrange to make contributions with your pension provider. You can either make regular deposits or an individual lump sum payment, and your pension provider will send you annual statements on how much your fund is worth. Personal pension. Choosing a personal pension provider can be overwhelming as there are so many to choose from. However, when you're making the decision, there are a few things you should consider. Is there a minimum or maximum level of contribution I can make? Can I stop and start my contributions without penalty? Can I pay in lump sums as well as regular contributions? Is it clear where I can invest my contributions? What are the charges? What help or support does the provider offer? Consider these factors and reflect on your finances to make an informed decision on what pension is right for you as well as the provider. Taking your pension. Pension providers set an age in which you can access your pension. This is not normally before 55, which is due to go up to 57 on the 6th of April 2028. You can usually take up to 25% of the amount built up in any pension as a tax-free lump sum. You will then have 6 months to start taking the remaining 75%, which you usually pay tax on. Options you have for taking the rest of your pension include taking all of it or some of it as cash, buying a product that gives you a guaranteed income, investing in a regular adjustable income. If you do not want to take the options your pension provider offers, you can move your pension pot to a different provider. Benefits of a personal pension. Control over aspects of your pension. Choose your own provider. Flexibility with investment option. Potential to grow over time as money is invested. Tax benefits, tax relief. Possible for third parties to pay into your pension, for example, a family member. Workplace pension. All employers must provide a workplace pension scheme. This is called automatic enrolment. Your employer must automatically enrol you in a pension scheme and make contributions to your pension if all of the following apply. You're classed as a worker. Age between 22 and state pension age. Earn at least £10,000 per annum. When you're automatically enrolled, your employer must write to you. They must tell you the date they added you to the pension scheme, the type of pension scheme and who runs it, how much they'll contribute and how much you'll have to pay in, how to leave the scheme if you want to, how tax relief applies to you. Your employer can delay the date they must enrol you into a pension scheme by up to 3 months. Workplace pension. A workplace pension is a way of saving for your retirement through contributions deducted from your wages. If you are eligible for automatic enrolment, your employer must make contributions into the scheme as well. Minimum contributions set at 8%, including tax relief on relevant earnings, of which at least 3% is from the employer. In case of certain adversities, there are protection schemes in place for your pension. If your employer goes bust, as pensions are usually run by pension providers, your pension will not be affected. If your pension provider goes bust, if the pension provider was authorised by the FCA and cannot pay you, you can get compensation from the FCS. Your employer is responsible for making sure there's enough money in a defined benefit pension to pay each member the promised amount. Your employer cannot touch the money in your pension if they're in financial trouble. You're usually protected by the Pension Protection Fund if your employer goes bust and cannot pay your pension. The Pension Protection Fund usually pays 100% compensation if you've reached the scheme's pension age, 90% compensation if you're below the scheme's pension age. Workplace pension. A workplace pension is attached to your job, whereas a personal pension isn't. This means that if you change jobs, you will have to organise what will happen with your pension. You can start a new workplace pension scheme when you get a new job. If you do this, you may be able to carry on making contributions to your old pension. Combine the old and new pension schemes. You may want to move some or all of your pension if you're changing job, your pension scheme is being closed or wound up, you want to transfer to a better pension scheme, you have pensions from more than one employer and want to bring them together, you're moving overseas and want to move your pension to a scheme in that country. If you would like to leave your workplace pension scheme, you should, if not been automatically enrolled, ask your employer what to do. If you have been automatically enrolled, your employer will have sent you a letter about being added to the scheme, and you can then leave or opt out. If you opt out within a month of your employer adding you to the scheme, you'll get back any money you've already paid in. You may not be able to get your payments refunded if you opt out later. They'll usually stay in your pension until you retire. You can opt out by contacting your pension provider. Your employer must tell you how to do this. Benefits of a workplace pension. Employer has to pay into scheme. Third-party payments. Automatic enrolment. Tax benefits. Money is invested, so potential to grow. Benefits of a pension. Pensions are important because barely anyone is saving the appropriate amount to give them a good standard of life by the time they retire. If you fall into this category, you can retire later, start saving more, lower your expectations of what you will be able to afford once in retirement. It is not ideal to rely on the state pension to keep you going in retirement, as the full state pension allowance is far below what most people would hope to retire on. A pension can be described as a long-term savings plan with tax relief. Receiving tax relief on pensions means some of the money that would have gone to the government as tax will go into your pension instead, this being just one of the benefits of a pension. Another pension benefit is that if you save into a defined contribution pension scheme, your contributions are invested. This is so that they grow throughout your working life and then provide you with an income in retirement. This enables your money to work for you rather than just sit in a regular savings account. Generally, you can access the money in your pension from the age of 55, but this will increase to age 57 from the 6th of April 2028. Tax relief. When your income is over a certain level, the government takes tax from your earnings. You can see this on your payslip. If you put money into a pension scheme, it qualifies for tax relief. Therefore, as mentioned previously, instead of the tax on money you're putting in going to the government, it goes into your pension pot instead. This is one of the benefits to having a pension scheme in place and why pensions are important. Even if you don't earn enough to pay tax, you may still be able to make contributions up to your UK earnings of £2,880, whichever is higher, and still get tax relief. Tax-free lump sum. You can usually take up to a quarter of your pension savings as a tax-free lump sum. This means you can withdraw, tax-free, 25% of your pension in one go. If you've built up your own pension pot in a defined contribution scheme instead of a defined benefit pension scheme, also known as a final salary scheme, you can use the rest of your pension pot however you choose when you reach the age of 55. This will increase to age 57 from the 6th of April 2028. Your pension provider will take off any tax you owe before you get money from your pension pot. If you need support, we're here to help. If you need support with learning about pensions, you can speak to your safeguarding lead, speak with your safeguarding champion, use online resources to find out more on pensions. Visit the links below this video for guidance on pensions. Thank you for watching.